بسم الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. طيب توقفنا قبل الصلاة عند التيمم. We stopped before the salah, ikhwani wa akhawati fillah, as it relates to at-tayammum. And we said that tayammum is a legal way to purify oneself. A legal way, Islamically, to purify oneself. And at-tayammum only becomes permissible for the Muslim in the absence of water. In the absence of water, or if water is available, but for whatever reason, that person is prevented from using the water due to a reason, whether that be sickness or whether that be an injury. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentions the permissibility of making a tayammum in the Quran. And this tayammum, the asl is that it's made with pure, clean dirt. It's made with pure, clean dirt. You have a question, Akhi? No, we've moved on to condition number 4 now, which is Raf' al-Hadath, removing impurities. Excellent, removing impurities. And we said initially, we remove impurities with water, whether that be a minor impurity or whether that be a major impurity. But what happens in the instance where there is no water or somebody is unable to use water? In such a case, they are able to make a tayammum. Now in Surah Al-Ma'idah, which is the 5th chapter of the Quran, in ayah number 6, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, O you who have believed, إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. O you who have believed, if you stand for salah, إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق, then wash your faces, and the face is from the hairline to the chin to the earlobes. This is what's considered the face in Arabic. فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق. Yad is your hand, and Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has ordered the hand to be washed إلى المرافق, to the elbows. So when you're making wudu, it's important that after you've washed your face, you don't just wash from the wrist to the mirfaq. Mirfaq is elbow. Alright, you don't just wash from the wrist to the elbow. After you've done your face, guys, you wash from your hands, including, in between your fingers, ila al-marafiq. Then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala yaqul, وَامْسَحُوا بِرَؤُوسِكُمْ, then wipe your head. And the motion of wiping your head after you've wet your hands with water is you start from the hairline, you go back to the back of the hairline, and then you come back again. Just like that. 1, 2. وَامْسَحُوا بِرَؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ, and wash your feet. Not wipe your feet, and wash your feet. So the asl when you're making al-wudu is to wash your feet, which includes washing between the toes. إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْن, up until the ankles. Now there's a few important points that I want to mention specifically about this ayah. Let me see. Sheikh Mustafa, if I were to ask you, how do you make al-wudu? What would you say? Akhi, what's that noise? How do you make al-wudu? طيب. ثم wash your hands what? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times, 3 times. Stop. A sheikh, how do you make al-wudu? La. Al-jalis. Stop. Akhi, at the back on the wall, if you don't mind. What's your name? Ishaq. Barakallahu feek. Nice to meet you, Akhi. How do you make al-wudu? Stop. Akhi, just about to leave. How do you make al-wudu? When you make, just before you're gonna make salah, what's the first thing you do when you make al-wudu?
Bismillah.
Okay.
Wash hands.
Stop. What do you do when you make wudu?
First doing niyyah
Excellent. And then?
and then start doing wudu.
How do you start? What do you do first?
What you do first?
Yeah. What's the first thing you do? After you say, you made your niyyah, you say Bismillah, and then you?
Open the water.
That would help. That would definitely be useful.
Start washing your right hand.
Okay. What's your
Right hand.
again?
Golf GK 57 is broken.
If anybody is the owner of a Golf GK,
Kilo, yes.
GK 57, you're blocking. Okay. Wajadnahu. Is that the brother there? Golf?
No, that's not easy.
Okay. Akhi, you the Golf? Sahib al Golf? No? طيب. So everybody so far says when you make al-wudu, you have the niyyah, then you say Bismillah, then you start with your right hand, and then you start your left hand. Does anybody disagree with this, by the way?
Yes.
Akhi with the child. What's your name, Akhi? Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum, Akhi. Nice to meet you. You agree with these guys? Jade. ايش عندك؟
I don't agree because first you have to wash both of your hands.
But that's what they said.
No, they said right hand then left hand.
I mean, some of them said that because it's the sunnah to begin with the right before the left. The Prophet ﷺ, he used to love beginning things with the right. You know, eat with the right, step into nice, good, pure places with the right, start combing his hair with the right, start washing his body from the right. So when you're making al-wudu, you start with the right. You understand?
Sheikh, I disagree because the niyyah comes first, but starting wudu, start from the bathroom, you have to wash your private part first.
Why?
Yeah, because that is where it starts.
But we...
Although Allah mentioned in the Quran that when you are going for salat, you should wash your face, but all the sunnahs they didn't mention.
Okay, that's where I was going. Jazakallah khair. What's your name?
Idris.
Oh yeah, Idris. I remember you, Idris. Jazakallah khair. The reason why I kept asking this question is because of this. When we learn how to make al-wudu, we learn how to make al-wudu according to the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is why unanimously everybody said, after niyyah, say Bismillah. What do? Wash hands. Because this is from the sunnah of the Prophet alaihi salatu. But has anyone ever wondered why Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala didn't mention this in the ayah?
It's not in the wajibat of the wudu. You can start with the wajib to start with your face.
Make sense, guys? Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala mentions in the ayah those parts of the body that you have to wash. Alright? You have to. As it relates to anything that's not mentioned in this ayah, then it's sunnah. If you do it, you're, and if you leave it out, you're sinful. Okay. There's no problem. Good. I was joking, by the way, guys. It's tricking you. A sunnah, if you do it, you're rewarded. If you leave it out, you're not sinned for it. So if a person comes to make al-wudu, and he says Bismillah, and he goes straight for the face, without doing the hands 3 times, it's correct. Nothing upon him. Alright? Nothing upon him. That's what I was getting at. But Jazakallah khair. Don't forget to turn off the tap though when you finish, right? But that's not from the conditions of the wajibat of wudu. Barakallahu fik, alaykum salam wa rahmatullah. That was hilarious, man. Absolutely hilarious. MashaAllah. Does that make sense, ikhwan? So what Allah mentioned in the Quran are those things that you can't miss out. The other things that we do are from the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. Now guys, as it relates to the obligatory elements to wash when we're making al-wudu and the permissibility of at-tayammum, they all can be found in the same ayah, which is Surah Al-Ma'idah. It's quite a long ayah.
Sorry to...
No problem.
The wudu, if we don't start with Bismillah, it's not mentioned in the ayah as well.
Excellent.
It's going to be okay.
Excellent question. If somebody doesn't say Bismillah, is the action still correct or not? we would have to look at, is saying Bismillah a condition for the acceptance of an action or not? That's what we'd have to look at. Now, is it an obligation to say Bismillah? What do you guys think?
No.
You have to say Bismillah?
There's a hadith about it.
Ish qal?
I can't remember the wording in Arabic, but the rough meaning in English is something along like the. Don't quote me, but something along the lines of your wudu is not accepted without saying Bismillah. Something along those lines.
Hadith sahih?
Allahu a'lam.
جميل. ايش عندك?
ما عندي شيء. I'd say ما رأيي لا.
You say if somebody doesn't say Bismillah,
That's okay.
oh it's okay, لا بأس. ايش عندك يا أخي? Same.
Yeah, I think to some scholars, according to what I learned.
There may be a difference of opinion, but I haven't come across anything myself in my studies that suggests if you don't say Bismillah, then your action is null and void. Alright, there's nothing. I've not come across anything. I do remember the hadith vaguely, but I don't know if it's authentic. And Allah knows best. Now, that's it. Excellent question, though. So the ayah which we was talking about, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He says in Surah Ma'idah, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَاتَّهَّرُوا. And if you are in a state of janaba, alright, major impurities, then purify yourselves. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ مَرْضَى أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم منه ما يريد الله ليجعل عليكم من حرج ولكن يريد ليطهركم وليتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تشكرون. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala says, if you're in a state of major impurities, then purify yourselves. But if you are ill or on a journey, or one of you comes to a place of relieving himself, i.e. he needs to go number 2, or you have contacted women, i.e. you have sexual intercourse with women, and you do not find water, then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala يقول فَتَيَمَّمُوا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا. Then seek clean earth and wipe over your faces and hands with it. This is the shahid, i.e. this is the dalil that goes to show the permissibility of making al-wudu, at-tayammum, for the ones who fulfill the aforementioned conditions. Any questions, ikhwan? Tfaddal, akhi. Su'al.
Sorry, just on this Bismillah thing, I found the hadith is it's narrated by Tirmidhi plus Hassan by Al-Albani. Sahih Tirmidhi about the one that Muhammad mentioned, which is there's no wudu for the one who does not mention the name of Allah. And that's the opinion of Imam Ahmed, but the rest of
Jumhur ulama.
the rest of the ulama say no, it's not because the ayah does not mention the Bismillah. And when the Prophet he said taught him to wudu, he said do the wudu as Allah has commanded you. And he's referring to the ayah. And in some other evidence they say that, you know, the Prophet he got showed many times when the Sahaba narrated how he made wudu, they didn't say the Bismillah, and it would have been if it was obligatory, then he would have said Bismillah.
Mumtaz.
When you said about if we don't have water for the wudu, what did you mean by it?
Let's say, for example, you're in a location and you go to turn on a tap, like the brother said, and no water comes out. And you go to your neighbor's house and there's no water there. And you find out that the water in the area has been cut off, but you have to pray. So in this case, there's absolutely no water that you can make al-wudu with. In such a case, it's permissible for you to make a tayammum. Or in Taysir, ma ma'na at-tayammum? What does tayammum mean?
When you get soil.
Excellent. What do you do with the soil? Throw it?
No, you rub it on your forearm.
Before you rub it, what do you do? You hit the, let's pretend that this is soil here, right? Clean earth. You strike it one time, and then you wipe over your hands, and then you wipe over your face. Just once. That's it.
Start with your right.
You begin with, there's a, from what as I remember, you start with your right, and then your left, and then you do your face. However, when I was researching for the lesson, I came across some ahadith which suggested something else, but let's just stick with what we know. Right, left, start with your right, as the Prophet ﷺ used to love beginning with his right, then left, then you wipe over the face. What if there's no soil? Give me an example where you're going to find no.
No, I was just asking, I didn't know when you're not going to
That's an excellent question. From what I understand, you can use, like outside, a wall. I'm sure you're gonna find a wall or a jidar. Did you say jidar? Or let's say, for example, there's no walls, there's no bricks, and you're in the desert where there's sand. Then use sand. Make sense?
Two questions. First one, how do we then? We can't assume that the ayah فَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ. We can't assume that's in tartib then, because if that's the case, you start with your face when you make tayammum.
But the ayah was. Let me double check.
فَامْسَحُوا بِوُجُوهِكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ. Allah mentioned wujuh first and then the أيديكم. You see?
Let me get back to you. Yeah, I can definitely see it. Let me get back to you. Because there are a hadith, and this hadith is actually collected in Muslim. Because I was going to put it down, but then I said it might cause some confusion.
Hadith suggests what? That you start with your face?
No, your hands.
Oh, so it's more tafsir into it.
Maybe it's saying that you can do both ways. I'd have to double check, but fantastic question. Second question?
Second one, I've heard, I can't remember where from exactly, I want to clarify. The ayah about إِذَا قُمْتُم مِّنَ الصَّلَاةِ فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُم, until the end of the ayah, the fact that وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُم is put before the أَرْجُلَكُم and that's mansoob going with the فَاغْسِلُوا, is that a dalil for having to do wudu in a certain order? Is that a dalil in of itself for that?
I was going to a tartib is a condition of the wudu.
But is that a dalil for it? The fact that Allah mentioned أَرْجُلَكُم and it's mansoob after the biru, and because I heard from what they said, the asl is for the mansoobat to be together and the majroor to be by itself. But the fact that it comes in between, it shows.
I was reluctant to mention the fact that وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُم is majroor for the harfu jarba, and وَأَرْجُلَكُم is mansoob, because I don't know the level of the class in terms of the grammar. Does it indicate a tartib? Allahu a'lam. Does that part indicate a tartib? It appears so. But I will say a tartib when I say a tartib, ikhwan, afwan, a tartib means to do something in order, sequential order. So you start with this verse and this verse and this. In a sequence. So I can't start at my feet and then go back to my face and then go to my elbows and then go. I have to do it in the order that Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has commanded, or what the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned in the authentic sunnah. But where I did think you were going with this is that the Shia, how do they make wudu? The Shia, when they wash their feet, how do they wash their feet?
No, I was just saying that what the brother was saying. I was reading Bulugh al-Maram, Ibn Uthaymeen.
MashaAllah.
And it was the same opinion that the brother was saying.
الترتيب يدل على الترتيب ممتاز.
What he was mentioning about the أرجلكم, it goes back to the
فاغسلوا. أيوة, not جميل. But this is a dalil against the Shia who they don't wash the bottoms of their feet, I believe, or they don't. I think they just wipe. But the fact that the word arjul is mansoob meaning it's occupying the place of being the object of a sentence. If that makes any sense to anybody that's not studying Arabic grammar. Alright? Ala kulli hal, when the object of a sentence comes in a sentence, it usually has a fatha. It's always going to be mansoob. Huh?
What does that mean, an object of a sentence?
Yeah, we'd have to. It's like for another lesson. It's grammar. When you study in Arabic grammar, you'll understand that. But ala kulli hal, we don't say وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرَجُوا لِكُمْ. We say وَأَرَجُوا لَكُمْ. Why? Because this is a dalil that has to be washed. The only time it's permissible to wipe your feet is if you made wudu, put your socks on, then you broke your wudu, then it's permissible to wipe over your socks. Alright? And even then there's a difference of opinion amongst the ulama. Ankle socks. Can you wipe over ankle socks? Socks that come up to your ankle. Alright? Is it permissible to make al-masah on that or not? اختلف العلماء on that particular opinion. Where were we now, guys? I've totally lost where I was.
If it was a dalil for tartib.
J, tartib. Su'al?
When Allah says in the ayah, wash your faces, is the rinsing of the mouth included in that?
Excellent. Some ulama say that the mouth is from the face. Alright? But some people, from what I can remember, some ulama say that it's not mentioned in the at-tamadmada wal-istinshaq. At-tamadmada is when you put the water in your mouth and you swish it around, if you like. Wal-istinshaq is where you inhale, preferably with your right hand, the water into your nose, and then you exhale. Alright? But again, it's not mentioned in the ayah. So depending on whether you consider the mouth to be from the face or you don't, that will dictate whether that would have to be done or that wouldn't have to be done. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala knows best. Question? Mumkin nukmil? So I gave you the dalil from the Quran about at-tayammum. Now we're going to cover the dalil from the Sunnah as it relates to
Are we on condition 5 here?
we're on condition number 4 still. But we're talking about at-tayammum. And this is going to be the longest chapter because there's so much things to cover as it relates to at-tayammum. The hadith عن عبد الرحمن ابن أبزة قال جاء رجل إلى عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه فقال إني أجنبت فلم أصب الماء. A man came to Umar ibn al-Khattab رضي الله تعالى عنه and he informed him that I became junub. What does junub mean? Anta. A state of janaba. Junub means I became in a state of janaba, i.e. major impurities. And I didn't find water. فقال عمار بن ياسر, remember this name, فقال عمار ابن ياسر لعمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه أما تذكر أن كنا في سفر أنا وأنت فأما أنت فلم تصلي. عمار ابن ياسر, he said to Umar, don't you remember one time when we were both on a journey and we was both in a state of major impurities and you didn't pray? وَأَمَّا أَنَا فَتَمَعَّكْتُ, I think I pronounced that correctly, it's very difficult to pronounce. فَتَمَعَّكْتُ فَصَلَّيْتُ. As for me, then I rolled around in the dirt. You guys familiar with this hadith before? The companion, he became in a state of major impurity. They couldn't find water. Umar lam yusalli. Umar didn't pray. As for this companion, what's his name? Ammar ibn Yasir. Excellent. He started rolling around in the dirt. فذكرت للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما كان يكفيك هكذا فضرب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بكفيه الأرض ونفخ بهما ثم مسح بهما وجهه وكفيه. This was the hadith which coincides with the ayah. Alright? So the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, Ammar, he said, I mentioned what I did, i.e. the rolling around in the dirt. I mentioned it to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, إِنَّمَا كَانَ يَكْفِيكَ هَكَذَا. He said, it would have been sufficient for you to do this. وَضَرَبَ فَضَرَبَ النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام بِكَفَيْهِ الْأَرْضَ. He hit the earth with his hand. The earth, i.e. some pure soil. وَنَفَخَ بِهِمَا. Then he just blew the excess dirt off of his hand. وَمَسَحَ بِهِمَا. And he used them to wipe وَجْهَهُ, his face, وَكَفَيْهِ, and his hands. So that was a dalil from the Quran and also a dalil from the Sunnah, which goes to show the permissibility of at-tayammum. Nam tafadhal ya akhi.
You see, if you're in a state of major impurity
Aywa.
and you have no water, so you make tayammum. When you get water, do you have to make ghusl or do you can...
That's a fantastic question, akhi. And I was actually, wallahi, I was coming across this mas'ala before just I had to leave the house to come here. It takes me like nearly an hour to get here sometimes. And it was not just necessarily ghusl. Let's say somebody's in a state of minor impurities. They passed wind. No water, they make tayammum. Is this tayammum now valid to the next salah? And as I was looking into it, I just came across the statement of Sheikh bin Baz, which he said that if you make tayammum at Fajr and Dhuhr comes in, salli biha or salli bihi. You can pray Dhuhr with the same tayammum. But I would like to look into it more. Is it that when you do find water now, you have to make, i.e. al-wudu properly, i.e. not properly, I shouldn't say properly because tayammum is making ablution properly, but with water? Or if you're in the state of janaba, do you now have to wash? Allahu tabarak wa ta'ala a'lam.
Yeah, I know we're not allowed to urinate in the street, yeah?
Yeah.
But let's say somebody was in a situation like they were in either desert or somewhere where there's no chance of getting to the toilet, yeah?
Sure.
And they had to urinate and there's no water. How do they make a stringent?
With stones or rocks. Rocks and stones or...
But I'm not talking about number two. I'm talking about
number one.
Yeah,
shake. I don't know. If there's not,
The major.
you're just gonna have to just.
Just gotta get soil and clean it up.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, if I was in that situation, I would just try to the best of my ability to make sure everything comes out. Because being serious now, there's negligence when somebody goes to the toilet and he just puts his private parts back in his thing, even if there's no water, knowing that there's going to be leakage, because it happens to men, right? It happens to men. And then there's somebody trying to be a bit more meticulous where he hasn't, same mas'ala, he doesn't have anything to clean himself with, but he just makes sure he gets everything out to reduce any type of impurities coming inside his boxers or his pants, whatever you wear. Alright? Cool. Can we continue? Su'al? Question? Okay. Jade. So the second hadith is which is what I mentioned last week, and this again goes to show the permissibility of making a tayammum. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith collected by At-Tirmidhi, إن الصعيد الطيب طهور المسلم وإن لم يجد الماء 10 سنين. That pure clean earth is a purifier for the Muslim, even if he didn't find water for how many years? For 10 years. Excellent. فإذا وجد الماء who asked that question a little while ago? Talib. Check the hadith. It says فإذا وجد الماء فليمسه بشرته فإن ذلك خير. If he finds water, then let him use it for purification on his skin, for that is better. Does this hadith now mean if the person is still pure from making a tayammum, alright, and then he finds water, does he have to make a wudu with that to kind of counteract this tayammum? Or does it mean the next time you become impure, now use that water? Allah knows best. I would suggest the second one, but Allahu Tabaraka wa Ta'ala knows best. Ikhwan, I've got so many things still to go through. Do you mind if we save the questions to the end? Is that alright? Unless it's really pertinent to understanding. Hayakallah alayhi salam to that. Unless it's pertinent to understanding what we're discussing, let's try to leave the questions to the end, inshallah ta'ala. The next thing I want to quickly cover is al-asbab al-mabiha lit-tayammum. Those permissible reasons where a person can make a tayammum, and this is kind of like a conclusion now. The first one, إذا لم يجد الشخص الماء. If a person doesn't obviously find water, then he can make a tayammum, and this is clear. The second one, إذا كان به مرض أو جرح. If a person has a sickness or he has a jarh, is an injury, a wound, and he fears by using the water it's going to increase him in the sickness or increase him in the injury, then he can make a tayammum. Alright? Number 3, إذا كان المياه, i.e. if the water is تكفي فقط للشرب. If they've got water, but the water is only enough to drink. Let's say they're on a journey, and the water that they've got with them, they can only drink it. So it's only enough for drinking. Because if they make a wudu with it or al-ghusl with it, they're gonna starve and they're gonna die. And that's not from the goals and the objectives of the Sharia. Who was here for the hadith class on Friday when we spoke about al-maqasid al-Sharia, the goals and the objectives? One of the goals and the objectives of the Sharia is to preserve life. It's to preserve life. So if you've got enough water only to drink, if you use it, you're gonna die. If you don't use it and you take the concession Allah's given you, you're going to inshallah ta'ala survive. Obviously you're going to take the concession. Does that make sense, guys? Jay. Fourthly, إذا كانت المياه متوفرة المتوفرة نجسة. If the water is available but the water is impure, it's not permissible for you to make wudu or al-ghusl with water that has najasa in it. Does that make sense, guys? And excellent question. Najasa means impurity. Alright? المياه جمع ماء. المياه جمع ماء. And fourth and final, this is the point where we're going to go into a lot of detail, inshallah ta'ala. I hope you guys can bear with me. I try to get through it as quick as I can. خوف خروج وقت الصلاة. It's permissible, and Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala knows best, to make a tayammum if somebody fears the exiting of the time. Alright? But let's say, for example, I'm going to read some of the statements of the ulama in a second. But let's say, for example, somebody wakes up and there's only like 5 or 10 minutes left before Fajr comes out. Fajr comes out now, what, about 6:30, 6:15? No. It comes out.
6:13.
6:13. All right. So let's say he wakes up at 3 minutes past 6. How long has he got until Fajr comes out, Akhi?
Sorry?
He wakes up at 3 minutes past 6. Fajr comes out at 13 minutes past 6. How long has he got until Fajr comes out?
10 minutes.
Aywa. So by the time he either and he's junub, all right, he's junub for whatever reason. By the time he makes al-ghusl or he warms up the water to make al-ghusl, the time's gonna come out. What does he do? It's not a question. It's not a question. It's a rhetorical question, sorry. A rhetorical question is a question that doesn't require an answer. This is the mas'ala that we're speaking about. Somebody fears that he's going to miss the salah and he wakes up and he won't have enough time to complete the al-ghusl or al-wudu. Then some say that he can make a tayammum. Has anybody ever heard this opinion before? You've heard it before? Interesting. And we're going to see what the ulama say about this. So let's take it bit by bit. Let's take the one who either forgets about the salah, or let's take the one who sleeps and then he wakes up. Like I said, he's got 10 minutes, 5 minutes left for salah. Al-waqtu fi haqqihi huwa waqtu istiqadhihi. The time as it relates to the person that wakes up and he has 10 minutes, right? As long as he wasn't negligent, i.e. he set his alarm, he went bed at a reasonable time, you know, he may have said to his wife or his children or whoever, oh, if you wake up, wake me up. He did everything that he possibly could do to get up for Fajr. But qaddar Allah, nama, he slept. When he wakes up at 3 minutes past 6, he doesn't have 10 minutes until Fajr comes out. He doesn't have 10 minutes. The one that legitimately, underline that word, legitimately sleeps or legitimately forgets, then his waqt starts from when he wakes up. Does that make sense? Has anybody heard that before?
No.
La? Never heard that, Akhi?
I heard
Something similar?
yeah, like he tried everything but he was slept.
Uh-huh.
And when he wake up he can do his prayer.
ولو خرج الوقت.
Oh, no.
ولو خرج الوقت. Even if the time
No.
as it comes out, right? Question?
No, I heard it.
Oh, you heard it. Excellent. Mumtaz. And he says here, لما روى الترمذي والنسائي وأبو داود وابن ماجه عن أبي قتادة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال ذكروا للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نومهم عن الصلاة فقال إنه ليس في النوم تفريط إنما التفريط في اليقظة فإذا نسي أحدكم صلاة أو نام عنها فليصليها إذا ذكرها. Ikhwan, do you remember when we were speaking about this mas'ala, and Sheikh Abu Bakr not here right now, but we were speaking about the mas'ala of if you miss your prayer and a long time, he said that he said a long time has elapsed, that you just make an istighfar. You guys remember that? He said that you make an istighfar, and that's sufficient. And his dalil was a qissa of one of the companions, although he didn't bring the whole qissa. Here, this hadith clearly says, for the one that misses a prayer due to sleeping or due to forgetfulness, this isn't tafreed. Tafreed can be translated as negligence. This isn't somebody being negligent. He says, negligent is careless. Excellent, he said that. Careless. When somebody's careless, I'll give you an example of somebody being negligent. We know that Fajr comes in at say 5:15 or 5:30, whatever the time is. So somebody goes to bed at 2 in the morning. He doesn't set his alarm clock, nor does he tell the people of his household to wake him up or wake her up when it's time for Fajr. This person is careless, negligent. Alright? He didn't tie his camel. He didn't do those things which were going to be more likely for him to get up for Fajr. Do you understand? But as for the one that goes to bed at a reasonable time, 9, 10 o'clock, he also sets an alarm on his phone. He might even set 3 alarms. Alright, just in case the first 2 he snoozes. Alright? This person is not negligent. Alright? So if he misses the salah, then when he wakes up, that's when the time for salah starts for him, even if the time has gone out. Does that make sense? So you don't have to rush. Take your time, you make your wudu, and then you pray. Make sense, guys? But anyway, the companions, they were asking, or they went to the Prophet ﷺ and they complained to him about that they slept and they missed the prayer. The Prophet ﷺ said, this is not from tafreed. This is not being negligent. إِنَّمَا التَّفْرِيد فِي الْيَقَظَةِ. Tafreed, being negligent, is when somebody's awake. Then the Prophet ﷺ said a beautiful statement, فَإِذَا نَسِيَ أَحَدُكُمْ صَلَاةً. If one of you forget a prayer, أو نَامَ عَنْهَا, or he sleeps and the prayer comes out, فَلْيُصَلِّهَا إِذَا ذَكَرَهَا. And that's the condition, guys. Clear cut. Pray it once you remember. If you forget it or you slept on a prayer, then when you remember that prayer, then you pray the prayer. You don't see nothing about making an istighfar. Jazahu Allahu khayran. No.
You mentioned the time starts when he or she wakes up or remembers.
Aywa.
How long is it? Does it have to be immediate? Then you do it, or how long do you?
I mean, the asl, كما قال الله تبارك وتعالى إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. So if the asl is anyway that we should pray when the prayer comes in, like immediately if we can, unless we have a mani' that stops us from praying at that particular time. But if in the situation that you mentioned, then I would say, I feel comfortable saying it would be better for him to pray straight away and not wait an hour, unless he legitimately cannot pray at that time for a reason. I can't think of anything right now off the top of my head. But
if that person waits excessively, let's say he could have prayed within the first 5-10 minutes of waking up. Let's say he waits half an hour and goes does other stuff. Would that then consider being negligent? And
Allahu A'lam. Allahu A'lam. I don't know. Can I? Further.
So say you're in a car and
In a car?
yeah, are you allowed to pray in the car?
I believe you're definitely allowed to pray your nawafil in a car. I mean, you're allowed to pray on the plane.
Are you allowed to make a tayammum
On?
in a car?
If there's no water, the hukum will still be the same. If you're driving in a car and you know there is no way, I mean right now it's very difficult in the UK to even imagine a situation where you wouldn't be able to stop either at a masjid or stop at your local sweet shop and just get some water to make a tayammum, al-wudu, sorry. But in a situation where, hypothetically speaking, somebody couldn't find any water, then the substitute is tayammum. But that's if somebody legitimately can't pray. I remember, subhanallah wa bihamdi, a sheikh, he was teaching us the chapter of purification in the first semester of the Kulit al-Hadith. And he gave us a mas'ala, an issue, right? He said that a man's on a journey and he's not in wudu. And he's walking to a town and it's Salat al-Dhuhr. The time for Salat al-Dhuhr is in. By the time he reaches his destination, Dhuhr will be out and Asr will be in. Alright? He doesn't fall under the person that can join his Salah, ikhwan. Alright? He's not traveling a distance such that he can join his Salah. What does he do? This is the question that he asked us some 9-8 years ago. What does he do? Does he wait till he gets to this destination, make wudu, then pray his Dhuhr and pray his Asr 4-4? What does he do?
Asr be out, you said.
No, Asr, by the time he gets to his destination, Asr will be in, but Dhuhr will be out. And it's Dhuhr time now.
Yeah, I'd say you'd wait and pray Dhuhr and Asr together.
See, right? And there's nowhere, I forgot a clause, there's nowhere for him to make a tayammum.
No way for him to make
There's no way or nowhere, just hypothetically speaking. He can't make a tayammum. And there is the water will be in the village, that's going to be in Asr's time. Okay, but he's not in wudu. He's not in wudu.
Because
he hasn't embarked upon a journey yet, though.
He started, he's on route, but it's not a journey that necessitates that he gets the concession of joining and combining.
But the join and combine is not for just the musafir, it's anyone who has any mashaqqa on that.
But this guy, he's got a mushaqqa.
because the Prophet ﷺ would join the salawat when it was raining heavily.
Yeah, not all the time, no.
And there's even a hadith when he
Not all the
no
time.
reason. He was in Medina.
Yeah, but
he was
these
traveling, there was no thing,
Bila
he
shak,
joined it.
and there was no rain and he wasn't traveling and he still done it.
So he didn't do taqsir. If you're talking about taqsir, that's for the musafir, the salah. But
But-
you're talking about jama'.
But we're still, the point is, he's muhdith. He's not in wudu. That's the point. He's not in wudu. Does he wait, make it, then pray them both? Or does he, what does he do?
If he goes back, well,
That's not part of the game. That's not part of the. It is, as I said.
I think you should do dhuhr, doing tayammum first.
There's no way for it, hypothetically speaking, there's no way for him to make a tayammum.
How come?
I mean, this is just the mas'ala. This is what the mas'ala he gave. What does he do? Does he pray, even though he's not in wudu?
Yes.
Or does he wait?
Then yes.
I pray without wudu.
Yeah.
And when you reach there, make wudu, then pray asr.
Yeah, exactly.
Pray?
Without wudu.
I would say
Is that
praise.
Why?
Because Allah says fear Allah as much as you can. Now the waqt has come in, and the waqt is one of the conditions of the salah is that it's in the waqt.
دخول الوقت ممتاز.
He had a chance to pray in the waqt. He didn't have the wudu, but it's because no fault of his own. He couldn't make wudu and he couldn't make tayammum.
Mumtaz.
So he feared Allah to the best of his ability and prayed.
Mumtaz.
But I would say maybe you can repeat the prayer.
I was with you until the end.
So in that case, would it be better like for him to pray and maybe not it be accepted than for him to not pray at all? But it would still be
Even if somebody's in wudu, we never ever know if it's going to be accepted, like I touched upon last time. However, I'll give you the answer though, what the Sheikh told me, because we got so much to cover still and I'm conscious about the time. He says, يُصَلِّي حَتَّى وَلَوْ بِغَيْرِ طَهَارَةٍ. He prays even if he doesn't have al-wudu. Why? Because the condition of al-waqt is more important, it comes in front of al-tahara. هكذا يقول الشيخ. And for this reason, I believe it's Imam Malik, if I'm not mistaken, he begins his, I think it's the book Al-Muwatta with the chapter of time before the chapter of purification. Many scholars, they begin their fiqh books with what? The chapter of Kitab al-Tahara. But I believe it's Imam Malik, if I'm not mistaken. He begins with the chapter of time. Why? Because Jazakallah khair for coming. Because time is more important than at-Tahara. To be honest with you, like I said, it was 8 years ago, and I just remember that because I was shocked. I'm like, how can somebody pray about wudu? It was news to me. But we have been ordered, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. Indeed, the prayer has been prescribed in the believers at fixed times. So that was his daleel. Is there ikhtilaf an issue? Maybe. I just wanted to share with you, some of the things that I've experienced. Further.
So you're not allowed to join prayers in that situation?
No, in a situation where somebody's traveling, or like the brother said, mushaqqa, or like the brother Abu Sumit said, sometimes the Prophet ﷺ would combine his prayers without there being like torrential rain, or without him being on a journey, alayhi salatu wasalam. So it was a hypothetical situation that probably nobody would ever find themselves in, and even if they did, they could do one of the things. But he wanted us to start thinking about the masail at hand that we were going to take. Does that make sense?
Would that be okay then for him to go out to a destination and join Dhuhr and Asr?
I mean, if he was a traveler, la bats, because it's permissible for the musafir to join either Dhuhr time or Asr time. But as it relates to somebody that's not a musafir, is it permissible for you to intentionally allow a prayer to come out? That's the issue. Without praying it, when you could have prayed it, but obviously you wouldn't have been able to make al-wudu or al-ghusl, depending on your situation, then that's the issue at hand here. No.
What if you make antayammum and when you take up the soil stays on you, can you still pray?
When you take the soil out, the soil's still on you? Yeah. What, like on your head or on your hands?
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. But like I mentioned in the hadith previously, when the Prophet, peace be upon him, hit the soil with his hands, he just blew them off. In another hadith, he just went like that to take the excess soil off. But so you still have a bit in your hand, but you're not just going to put a whole bunch of soil on your face. That's not the maqsood, to put dirt on your face. It's a ritual purification. Yeah. Let's continue, guys. قال الشيخ الإسلامي ابن تيمية رحمه الله تعالى: من استيقظ آخر وقت صلاة وهو جنوب وخاف إن اغتسل خرج الوقت اغتسل وصلى ولو خرج الوقت وكذا من نسيها. And I've just brought this as a support and evidence. Notice this, guys. Shaykh al-Islam is a tremendous personality in the religion of al-Islam according to Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. I never use Shaykh al-Islam's statement as a dalil. أقوال الناس ليس بدليل. Okay, guys, and this is so important to understand. Many people get this point twisted, and you ask them for something, they say Shaykh so and so said. Makes sense? أقوال العلماء ليس بدليل. The dalil of the ulama is a dalil. If Allah says something, قال الله وقال الرسول, this is what could be, or إجماع al-ummah, this is considered to be adilla in al-Islam. But I mentioned Shaykh al-Islam's statement for two reasons. Number one is a supporting evidence. I already mentioned what the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, كان يكفي. كلام النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام يكفي. Alright? The statement of the Prophet ﷺ, or whatever Allah says, is sufficient. But it's also nice to know what the ulama say as a support and evidence. So don't think that it's okay if you're going to give dalil to somebody to say a statement of an alim. However, if you wanted to mention the statement of an alim to say this is his position, then there's no problem. There's no problem in this. But don't, force somebody to take an opinion on a mas'ala because a sheikh said something. Unless that sheikh is quoting the dalil, that's what we cling to, the dalil, and not the statement of the sheikh. Make sense, guys? I can't stress this point enough because it's vitally important. So the sheikh, no.
You see where you said you can pray on a plane? How would you know if the directions changing?
I mean, nowadays, walillah alhamdu wa shukr, with technology, it's yumkin. I like to travel by Saudi Airlines myself, and they have a compass on the TV screen, or they've got a little musalla area where they've got the direction of the qibla. But let's say, for example, you're traveling with British Airways and you don't have an app on your phone. Then, as the brother says, fear Allah as much as you can. Make an istiqbal al-qibla if you're able to ascertain which direction is the qibla.
No, that's not what I was asking.
Okay.
You're on the plane and the plane's changing direction whilst you're praying.
What can you do? You can't say to the pilot, listen, I know we're going to go north in a minute, but just keep going until I'll be 5 minutes, so be quick. La yumkin. You just pray. No.
There's a hadith that's in Sahih Bukhari, or Sahih Muslim, I'm not sure which one.
No.
It said about praying on the ship. You start facing the qibla as best you can. If it changes directions, it's irrelevant. Mumtaz.
Did you get that, Akhi? If you're able to ascertain the direction of the qibla, do so. And then if your riding beast changes direction, back in the day that's how they used to travel with animals and that. If you're in a car, nafsu shay. Plane, ship, nafsu shay. Same thing. So Shaykh al-Islam says, whomsoever wakes up at the end of the time of salah and he is in a state of major impurities and he fears, or major impurity, and he fears that if he makes ghusl, the time is going to go out, he makes the ghusl and he prays. وَلَوْ خَرَجَ الْوَقْتُ وَكَذَا مَنْ نَسِيهَا. What's that? Go on.
Doesn't that go against what you said earlier?
We're going to get to this. If I don't answer it in the next couple minutes, then we say, this is ikhwan, and it's going to become bayyin. Bayyin means clear later. This is for the one who legitimately wakes up late or forgets, not the one that was negligent. This من استيقظ آخر وقت صلاة وهو جنب وخاف أن اغتسل خرج الوقت اغتسل وصلى ولو خرج الوقت وكذا من نسيها. So the one that wakes up late or the one that forgets, if they legitimately, that's the key word here, if he legitimately forgets, then he can pray. Later on, we're going to see what Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah ta'ala says about this. And you're going to see the difference between the two statements. If I don't answer it, then we come back to it, yeah? So here, in the Kalam Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, the Shaykh is speaking about the one that wakes up towards the end of the prayer, or he forgets while he's in a state of major impurity. وسئل الشيخ ابن عثيمين رحمه الله تعالى بالنسبة لتسخين الماء إذا كان الإنسان يتكاسل أو قام متأخرا من نومه في البرية ويخشى من فوات الوقت فما الذي يفعل؟ هل يسخن الماء أو يتيمم؟ Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon him, he was asked a question as it relates to warming up water. If a person was lazy, alright, is negligent, he was careless, and the time was going to come out and the water that he had was freezing cold, so he wanted to warm it up before he could use it. Or قام متأخرا من نومه, or he woke up late from his sleep. Two different situations. One's being lazy, one's legitimately waking up late from sleep. ويخشى من فوات الوقت, and he fears that the time's going to go out if he makes al-ghusl. فما الذي يفعله؟ هل يسخن الماء أو يتيمم? What is upon this person? Does he heat up the water or does he make a tayammum? What do you guys think? Ever so quickly. He makes tayammum.
According to the qaida earlier.
He makes tayammum. What do you say, Majid? Tayammum. Huh?
Then you can't just leave it cold.
He wants to warm it up for whatever reason. Again?
Heats up the water.
You say he heats up the water. Why'd you say that? My belly's doing a madness.
I forgot the reason, but you mentioned it earlier.
Excellent.
The waqt.
Go on. Keep going. Keep going.
His time was prolonged.
His time starts from when he wakes up. Because he wasn't negligent. The Prophet said, إنه ليس في النوم تفريط أو كما قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. The questioner is asking about somebody that slept. So the answer that the Shaykh has given is taking into consideration that this person wasn't negligent. Alright? He wasn't negligent. So what the Shaykh replied, Shaykh Uthaymeen, he says, يجب عليه أن يسخن الماء ولو كان يخشى خروج الوقت. He said it's obligatory upon him that he heats up the water even if he fears the exit of the time. Ikhwan, this is kalam Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen. It's not daleel. It's just the opinion of the Shaykh. The daleel is what the Prophet ﷺ said above. I'm really sorry guys, that's my belly making these bubble noises, if you can hear it. So he says, يجب عليه أن يسخن الماء ولو كان يخشى خروج الوقت وذلك لأن النائم إذا قام من نومه فوقت الصلاة في حقه من استيقاظه وليس من دخول وقتها لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من نام عن صلاة أو نسيها فليصليها إذا ذكرها. كلام جميل. That's the dalil. صح ولا لا? That's the dalil, the statement of the Prophet ﷺ. Shaykh Uthaymeen says it's upon him to warm up the water even if he fears that the time is going to go out. وذلك لأن النائم, and that is because the one that is sleeping إذا قام من نومه, if he wakes up from sleep and he wasn't negligent, فوقت الصلاة في حقه, the time for prayer for this person من استيقاظه وليس من دخول وقتها. The time starts when he wakes up and not from when the salah came in, as we previously mentioned. What is that based on, ya Shaykh Uthaymeen? That's based on the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, whomsoever sleeps and misses a prayer or he legitimately forgets it, then let him pray it if he remembers it. فَجَعْلَ وَقْتَهَا عِنْدَ الذِّكْرِ بِالنِّسْبَةِ لِلنِّسْيَانِ. So the prayer, the time for prayer is when a person remembers it as it relates to the one that's forgetful. وَكَذَلِكَ عِنْدَ الْإِسْتِيقَاظِ بِالنِّسْبَةِ لِلنَّوْمِ. And also for when a person wakes up for the one that was sleeping. فَنَحْنُ نَقُولُ, Shaykh says, and this is what we say, إِذَا قُمْتَ مَثَلًا مِّن نَوْمِكَ قَبْلَ طُلُوعِ الْفَجْرِ. If you wake up from your sleep before the sun has risen, بِنَحْوِ خَمْسِ دَقَائِقَ أَوْ عَشَرِ دَقَائِقَ, by 5 or 10 minutes. You got 5 or 10 minutes before the sun's going to actually rise. In tayammamta adrakta as-salah. If you make a tayammum, you're going to make the salah fil waqt. Wa in ightasalta kharaj al-waqt. And if you make the ghusl, the time's going to go. The Shaykh says, ightasil walau kharaj al-waqt. Yeah, the kalam of Shaykh Uthaymeen. And that's found in where did I get this? This is found in, oh gosh, he has a fatwa called Nur al Darb. Anyone heard of that? Yeah, a few of the Mashaykh have that. Even Sheikh bin Baz, you can find it. It's like a station that they would bring the Mashaykh on. Ikhwan, I hope I'm gonna get through this. Does that make sense, guys? Makes sense, barakallahu feekum. So here, one second, Habibi. Here, Shaykh Uthaymeen, he was asked about warming up water for the one that was lazy or the one that woke up late and fears that the time is going to exit. Alright, the Shaykh clearly said that he prays even if the time goes out. I don't want to say issue, the difficulty I'm having with the Shaykh's answer is he was asked about two things, or he mentioned two things. If someone's lazy and if somebody legitimately sleeps over the time. Sheikh bin Baz, which we're going to hear now, he was asked a similar question. And he makes a distinction between the one that's lazy and the time's going to go out, and the one that legitimately has a legitimate reason and the time's going to go out. And this is what I lean towards because it makes sense. وسئل الشيخ ابن باز رحمه الله تعالى هل علي إثم في ترك الوضوء خوفا من فوات الوقت أم لابد أن أتوضأ جزاكم الله خيرا. Sheikh bin Baz, this fatwa can be found on the website, but it's only in Arabic, guys. Pay attention to this, inshallah. We can both finish on this. Sheikh bin Baz, he was asked, is there any sin upon me if I do not make al-wudu because I'm scared that the time for the prayer is going to leave? Or do I have to make wudu even if the time of the salah is going to leave? May Allah reward you with good. What does the Shaykh say? He says, هذا فيه تفصيل إن كنت قمت من النوم غلبك النوم وقمت توضأ ولو خرج الوقت. The first part of the kalam of the Shaykh, it coincides with what all of the other ulama, the ulama have said previously. Shaykh Hussain ibn Taymiyyah, Shaykh Muhammad ibn al-Uthaymeen, rahimahumullah ta'ala. He says that this answer requires some detail. If you were to get up and pray after being asleep because sleep overtook you, you get up, you make wudu even if the time for the prayer exits. Or nasin thumma intabahta tawadda'a walau kharaj al-waqt. Or if you weren't sleeping but you legitimately forgot, you make wudu and you pray even if the time for prayer goes out. He says, al-waqtu huwa waqtu al-istiqaf wa waqtu al-intibah wa waqtu intibahika. He says that the time for your prayer, the one that fulfills these two conditions, is the time you either wake up or the time you remember. What is this based on, ya Shaykh? لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من نام عن الصلاة أو نسيها فليصليها إذا ذكرها لا كفارة لها إلا ذلك. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, whosoever oversleeps on a prayer or he forgets it, then he should pray it when he remembers. لا كفارة لها إلا ذلك. There is no expiation for that except by doing that. That kind of is a refutation on Shaykh Abu Bakr, who said that you can make an istighfar. Because the Prophet ﷺ said in this hadith, there's no expiation for missing a prayer, forgetting a prayer, or oversleeping over a prayer, except that you pray it once you remember it. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala knows best. This is the most interesting part that I want to get to. He says, أما إن كنت متساهلا ما عندك نسيان ولا نوم فالواجب عليك أن تصليها في وقتها. كلام جميل. فهمت؟ The Prophet Astaghfirullah. Sheikh bin Baz, he says, as for if you were just laid back and easy going and, careless, you didn't forget, nor were you asleep, then it's obligatory upon you to pray that prayer in its time. That goes to show what, guys? It goes to show the importance of the reason as to why a person wants to make a tayammum in place of al-wudu or al-ghusl. If it's for a legitimate reason, then he can do it, i.e. make wudu or make al-ghusl and then pray. If it's for a reason other than those legitimate reasons that we've covered in today's class, then the ahamiyatul waqt is more important. Alright? So what does the Shaykh say here? يُصَلِّهَا فِي وَقْتِهَا. He has to pray in his time. وَلَوْ بِالتَّيَمُّمْ إِذَا ضَاقَ الْوَقْتِ وَلَوْ بِالتَّيَمُّمْ. So let's say in a situation now, there is water available. There is water. But he was mutasahil, he was watching football. Is watching football a valid reason to delay your salah? Abadan. May Allah protect us from that.
What about games, Sheikh? Games.
Yani PlayStation and stuff like that. Same hukum, same thing. Nothing is more important. The only time that I can think of that a person, wouldn't be able to pray is if like he's a surgeon and he's doing like open heart surgery or brain surgery. If he stops, the person's going to die. This person has a concession to join his salawat. But here we're talking about somebody that is, as the Shaykh says, mutasahil. He prays it in his time, even if it's with tayammum. Remember, we said that tayammum is only to be used if there is no water. But we've got water. It's just that you were being negligent after your salah. Now the time's going to go out. You can make a tayammum now to pray because the time's more important in that situation for that person. Make sense? Finishing now, guys. ولو بالتيمم ليس لك التأخير لأنك حينئذ ظالم بهذا التأخير. He says that you don't have the concession of delaying the prayer until it comes out because you are a zalim in delaying your prayer. You've been oppressive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because the prayer, like I mentioned in the last lesson, it's almost like a dain. It's a debt that you have to, it's something that you have to do. You got no choice in the say so as a Muslim. You have to pray. Make sense, guys? You have to pray. So you delaying it for a reason that's not valid, you're zalim. بهذا التأخير كما قال الشيخ. والواجب عليك البدار من تصليها قبل خروج الوقت ولو بالتيمم. So what's obligatory is that you pray it before the time comes out, even if you have to make a tayammum. Did I answer the question that you had before? Can I just out of curiosity, what was it?
No, I was going to say to you because earlier on you had mentioned that you would make tayammum if the waqt was going to go out. If you only had 10 minutes, you said like you wake up, you know that okay, you're going to miss it if you make ghusl, you make tayammum. Yeah, that's sufficient. That's what we initially mentioned, yeah? And then later on, when you brought the Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah and
No, the first one we said that if you fear that the time's going to come out, if you slept, if it was because you slept or you forgot, then you've got. Are you talking about what I said about the Shaykh?
When we first mentioned it, and you said, "What time does Fajr come out?"
Yeah.
We said 6:13. You said, "Okay, you wake up 3 minutes past 6.
Uh-huh.
You know you make ghusl, you're gonna miss it. What do you do?" And then you said you make tayammum.
I said make tayammum.
You said يجوز التيمم في حال خوف خروج الوقت وقت الصلاة. You said يجوز. It's permissible.
Then that's why. And then when Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah's thing, it kind of contradicted that. But what Sheikh Bin Baz explained it though.
Yeah, because there's a difference between the two.
The one who's
that's it,
negligent,
he
has to make tayammum.
Okay, excellent.
But the one who wasn't negligent, his waqt starts when he gets up.
Excellent. And that's why I left Sheikh Bin Baz's answer to the end, to put what the other Mashaykh say. Even what Sheikh Uthaymeen says, it wasn't as clear as what Sheikh Bin Baz says. And Allah Ta'ala knows better. Ikhwan, I still got like 3-4 pages, but look at the time, it's like 9 o'clock, so I'm not gonna oppress anybody. I know some of you out of respect is still here. So we're gonna wrap it up now. Last couple of questions and we continue next week, inshallah.
You see if you have a cast on.
A what?
A cast. Like you
A
broke
cast,
it down,
yeah.
Cast on.
Yeah.
And can you wipe over that?
For sure.
Did you have to do it 3 times or you just have to do it once?
I don't know.
Once it's sufficient anyway, it would be, isn't it?
But let's say are you saying that if you've done your other arm 3 times? I don't know. But you can wipe over it though.
The person who you said today, Sheikh Bin Baz mentioned that he's a zalim for the. He